Welcome to ACC basketball presented by Geico. And tonight from the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh, the Panthers will host the number 11 Louisville Cardinals with Jordan Nwora, one of the ACC's top Player of the Year candidates. Hi, everybody. Dave O'Brien alongside my partner, Corey Alexander. Katie George is courtside. Louisville, Corey, has a huge one coming up on Saturday. So is this one problematic? They've got Duke right around the corner.
And they lost here a year ago, so Chris Mack has to be concerned about a trap game. But Jeff Capel trying to figure out which one of his teams is going to show up today.
Jordan Nwora, our Player of the Year candidate, is mentioned inside the ACC. Really having a terrific year. Our Geico player spotlight, 21 points a game.
And Jordan Nwora on tear to be the ACC Player of the Year, playing very efficient basketball over his last three, shooting over 60% in ACC games from beyond the three-point arc. So looking to have another stellar performance here on the road.
Welcome to the zoo. We are ready for the opening tip. Pitt Panthers at 11-5. The Louisville Cardinals at 13-3. They are 4-1 in the ACC. And of course, Pitt, as you mentioned, looking to bounce back behind Trey McGowan's, who went off for 33 against the Ville when they met in this building last season. If he gets on a hot streak, look out.
And when he's hot, he's going downhill toward the basket and trying to tear somebody's head off at the rim.
Now ready to go inside the ACC tonight as Louisville wins the opening tip, and we are underway. They certainly have a pattern of breaking away from opponents on really spectacular runs. That one tipped away, and Pitt immediately forcing a turnover.
And that's Darius Perry coming up with the turnover, who hasn't done much of that recently.
That's going to be goaltending. So count the first basket for Pitt. Let's bring in Katie George.
Well, guys, after practice on Sunday, many Louisville players had a chance to watch the Pitt-Miami game. The next day, Chris Mack asked the group, do you think we're going to face the same team that we just saw in Miami? If you do, you're a fool. He then reminded his team what happened a year ago on this very court. So this Louisville team is prepared to play a tenacious team that prides itself in toughness, Dave.
You know, they really did have an ugly game after a terrific win at North Carolina, way downtown and knocked down by Darius Perry, the 6'2 junior.
And Perry is capable of knocking down shots. One of the things for him is to be able to shoot the open ones and not over-penetrate, something that we see him get himself in trouble with and oftentimes. But for the Panthers, hey, they scored the first 2 points of this game and had a lead. They never had one of those at Miami on Sunday. Got down 16-0 to start the game.
McGowan's deep in the corner. Very strong defender, lots of steals, but he can really get it up to the basket. He got it up that time, but it would not fall for him.
They give Jordan Nwora credit for sliding his feet defensively and, more importantly, not fouling.
Sutton will lift and hit a feathery touch. He makes 39% out there.
And that's the exact same spot where he made the biggest shot of the night on Saturday against Notre Dame, actually to tie the basketball game late, and then hit another three-pointer to give Louisville the lead. So Dwayne Sutton starting to shoot the basketball better here recently.
McGowan's giving up the dribble, and that one tipped into the backcourt and an over and back. Now, Capel is saying that that was absolutely touched, but that's not how they saw it.
Well, the problem is when you see Trey McGowan's reaction, when he reacts to it and doesn't immediately go after the basketball and then picks it up, as although he was pleading guilty.
Yes.
So therefore, he gave the official Mike Roberts an opportunity to pretty much give the basketball back to the Cards.
You've got to ace the acting, right?
You got it. You got it. I mean, again, if you want to say he tipped it, then you got to run after it like it's a live basketball.
Sure. Mike Stevens, Mike Roberts, and Kip Kissinger, the officials tonight here at Pittsburgh. On the drive, Kimball, a floater that won't drop. And transition out of Pitt Panthers, who snapped their 22-game ACC road losing skid for that win at North Carolina, but then fell to Miami on the road a few days later, 66-58 on Saturday. They were down 16-0 in that game.
Yeah, it took them 7 minutes to be able to score. And it was a Terrell Brown elbow jumper that got them on to their first field goal after Xavier Johnson made 2 free throws. But you know, I'm keeping track already. That's been 2 great defensive stands, keeping Trey McGowan's and then Xavier Johnson, 2 very difficult guards, in front of him by Jordan Nwora, who hasn't really started on the offensive end, but has been special on the defensive end of the game so far.
Sutton at the line, fouled by Xavier Johnson. Dwayne Sutton, 6'5" senior, who has been an absolute beast on the glass this season. He's been one of the best rebounders really in the country. He's averaging 9 a game. He's had 3 games where he's had over 14 rebounds.
And he had, I believe, 14 rebounds against Notre Dame on Saturday, 10 points to go along with it. But when you can imagine that you're getting this from a 6'5" postman, I mean, I won't call him a postman. He plays on the inside, pretty much the 4 position. But you look at him right now, he's defending Trey McGowan's the shooting guard for Pittsburgh. So very versatile is Dwayne Sutton.
Yeah, he scored over 1,000 points in his career. You wonder if people just forget about him. Here's Johnson to push that one up and knock it down. He's coming off a fascinating day on Saturday. Jeff Capel benched him for most of the second half of that game.
And I believe that is the key for Xavier Johnson, is being able to shoot the mid-range game. So often he's trying to get all the way to the basket. He struggled picking up offensive fouls. And this time it's Jordan Moore getting out in transition and coming up with the turnover. Pitt getting the basketball back.
Well, they have warned the crowd here. They've warned the zoo. I mean, you do that at your own peril anyway. But for throwing paper on the court, you know, when they struck for a basket, they started throwing confetti.
Well, what do you expect from a zoo?
Exactly right.
I mean, again, if you're going to have a zoo, you got to expect for them to throw stuff on the floor.
So they've been officially warned here tonight for that transgression. Here's McGowan's.
And for those of you who do not recognize number 5 in the Panthers uniform, that would be one of these Tony, who cut his hair off. Earlier today or last night, young man had dreadlocks in practice yesterday and came in today with the low cut.
A scrap for it. They're going to get a foul on the play as the shot clock was winding down. The fresh look there by Adis Toney, the 6'6" sophomore from Huntsville, Alabama. McGowan's will pick up the personal.
And we had to walk in and double take because a striking resemblance to Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
And you think about the body type walking in, you double take when you looked over at him. And I asked Jeff Capel, did you recognize him when he came in for practice today? Jeff said no. But I don't want to ask why he cut the hair off.
But, you know, he had missed a couple of games with an elbow injury. He's come back. They got him right back into the starting lineup. So everything's kind of fresh for him right now.
And he's drawing the assignment of guarding Jordan Moore. You see, not in help. While everyone else is helping for the Panthers, Adis Toney is staying right at home with the ACC's leading scorer.
Travel there on Stephen Enoch, the big senior, formerly of the University of Connecticut. So a 6-4 Louisville lead. Louisville coming off that victory at Notre Dame Saturday, 67-64. They played very well here, by the way. At Pittsburgh, they are 7-2 all time. Johnson trying to use the screen. Behind the back, nifty dribble, but he had it knocked away, and there is a foul. 16-14 to play in the first half. Getting very creative there with that behind-the-back maneuver.
Well, I'm going to take you to Corey Alexander Basketball School in here. I love the play, but you got to get lower. When you're in traffic, that basketball cannot be that high. And if it was lower, he gets his hands on the basketball quicker and has an easy pass to Adis Toney, was bailed out by the Louisville defense.
So you're not averse, foul on Darius Perry, by the way. You're not averse to the creativity, the style, behind the back. You got to do it that way.
I love all of that.
You love all that?
I love all that. You just need to do it a little bit quicker so he could get the pass to Toney in the corner, who had a wide open three-pointer.
Johnson getting around Enoch, puts on the brakes. He can hit that three-point shot too. He's 42% out there. Here's Toney with a pull-up pop and knocks it down.
And that's a nice play by Toney, recognizing once again you may not get all the way to the rim. And oftentimes against Louisville, you don't want to get all the way to the rim. They've got shot blockers, but the pull-up game, the mid-range is not dead, Obi. I don't care what the analytics people say.
Sutton got a really good look, but off the iron. Tied at 6. And some pushing and shoving. And that was Kimball trying to fight his way through a screen.
And Toney cutting off the braids and finding his way to the mid-range. Adis, the pull-up, looking good early in a tie game.
ACC Network Basketball is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. In the last season, Pitt and Louisville clashed here in the Peterson Events Center. It went overtime. Trey McGowan scored 33. The win, Jeff Capel's first conference win at Pitt. Louisville rallying from 13 down to force overtime, but Pitt prevailed in the extra period. and going without the tie tonight.
Yeah, going to open collar tonight, and Jeff not happy with this team after the Miami game simply because they did not handle prosperity well. The win over North Carolina, breaking a 22-game road losing streak in the ACC, and then, of course, going to Miami and allowing Miami to get out to that 16-0 start. But, walked Miami down, tied the game at 18, but never were able to take a lead. Miami controlled it for the remainder there, but just being able to handle that success was one of the areas where Coach Capel wanted to see more from his team.
The scoring change during the overtime they gave, I should say during the commercial, Louisville picks up an extra point because of the three-pointer by Darius Perry. Murphy will answer with a three-pointer of his own. So Ryan Murphy, who's hitting about 35% out there, has cooled off somewhat the last couple of games after a hot stretch. They like him coming off the bench.
They really do. 1 for 9 in his last 2 games. And, of course, starting those games with Adis Toney out injured is now he gets back into his 6-man role and is off to a good start already, as is Toney, getting the steal in transition.
With the theft, a travel on him before the shot. That'll be their 3rd turnover. Pitt is on a 7-0 run, and they have grabbed a 9-7 advantage. So Fresh Kimball to bring it up. The grad from Philly, graduate transfer from St. Joe's, where he really had a fine career.
He really did, and of course really steadies this team a bit when you consider Darius Perry and also David Johnson, the other point guard options for Chris Mack, who told us that they're going to do the point guard by committee. He doesn't know which guy's going to give him the best production. Of course, David Johnson has the highest ceiling. Darius Perry has the most ACC experience, and Fresh Kimball, the older point guard with the most experience. They'll do it by committee all season long.
Johnson couldn't put that foot down, not long enough. He dragged it, and that's a travel. And Chris Mack, 2nd season for Louisville, has not only righted the ship, he has returned the Cardinals to the elite. A lot of people talking about perhaps a Final Four appearance this year. They have been ranked #1 in the poll already this year.
Chris Mack doing a tremendous job in Louisville, and again, you're talking about one of the blue bloods of college basketball. And taking on that responsibility and that job, there's a lot of pressure behind it, as well as expectations. And Louisville has seen that and really responded this season.
Boy, Sutton with a determined drive to flip that one up there. Very strong, as you mentioned, at 6'5". The senior has been so good on the glass, a 5th-year man. They have 4 5th-year seniors on this roster for the Cardinals. Weaving his way, Johnson trying to get involved in the offense. Barely got that one to the iron. And a whistle after the rebound.
And that's a silly foul.
That's on Johnson.
And again, those are the areas where Xavier Johnson has had issues all season long, picking up silly fouls. And again, I don't know how much contact there was here, frustrated over the fact that he missed the shot. Whoa. Okay, now I normally side with the officials. But that one, and Michael Stevens is my guy, but I truly recognize why Jeff Capel has this confused look on his face. There was nothing there. Now, he was called for invading the cylinder, but there was no contact on that play.
Nope, going to the monitor here.
I have to apologize to X. He got called for a silly foul, but I don't think he deserved that one.
Take another look.
And again, frustrated over missing the shot, but what he did, instead of swiping at the basketball, he stays away from contact. I wish this were like the NBA at some point where you could see that and retract that foul, because that could come back to haunt the Panthers late in this game.
Laura from 3, off to a chilly start. It comes right to Johnson, blocked out of the sky by Brown. That'll trigger a break. Here's the jumper by Murphy. That's the way to finish that. Ryan Murphy with the triple.
Turning defense into offense. Tremendous job by Terrell Brown, not only blocking the shot, but keeping it in play. And then Trey McGowan getting out, pushing the basketball, finding the shooter.
That's got the zoo jumping. Louisville, by the way, has got about 5 minutes since their last field goal. And a whistle to stop play with exactly 13 minutes to go.
Great defensive stand, Brett, there by Brown. And then give Trey McGowan the presence of mind and understanding, knowing that the shooter, Ryan Murphy, who's already knocked down 1 3-pointer, the hot hand, and finding him on the wing.
Toney with the foul. Man, I'm with you on the Xavier Johnson so-called foul. Where was there a foul?
There wasn't. And honestly, I think that's Xavier Johnson's second foul here early in the game.
He did have to step out. Battle for the rebound controlled by Pitt. Very frisky Pitt Panther team here early on.
And where Pitt has struggled at times.
Shane Penny with a fall away. What a pretty shot to make it 14-9.
That's a get hot shot. Okay, so right now when you have the confidence to take that, you can probably count on the next Shane Penny, especially a three ball going in when he's confident enough to take that.
Yeah. Very cold night, at least in the first minutes here at Pitt for Wara. Brown inside, can't connect in close, and the rebound comes away to the Cardinals. Trying to pick up their 14th win of the season. Johnson stepping to the lane, the dish here by Williams, and one. He'll be at the line.
And a nice attack by David Johnson. Getting to the basket, but Justin Champagnie. And again, maybe not the best pass from Trey McGowan, but Champagnie gathering it, then going 1 foot. A little Dirk Nowitzki type. David Johnson with the response, the find to Malik Williams, who's able to finish through the contact.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. Panthers are off to a hot start, leading 14-11 thanks to this guy. Ryan Murphy certainly plays with a chip on his shoulder. He said, quote, "I definitely play with an edge. I feel like I'm an underdog. I look like a frat boy. I have a comb over. I feel like every night I go out there and I have to prove everyone wrong." You guys, I asked him about that comb over part. He said, look, if LeBron still has hair, there's hope for me.
I love the sense of humor. What's wrong with a comb over? You do it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for telling America my business.
I'm just kidding. That's absolutely. That's all you full-headed guy. Shot clock down to 9 here. McGowan lines up a long one and knocks it in.
And Trey McGowan has been playing excellent basketball since the second half of the North Carolina game on the road. He has been the guy. 15 assists to 7 turnovers in his last 2 games. Doing a great job distributing the basketball and getting his teammates involved, but also being aggressively trying to score the basketball.
That's McMahon from the corner, the senior, and one of the Louisville captains. He'll drop in a 3-point shot. Also one of the great foul shooters in the country.
And Obi, let me go back. Xavier Johnson only has 1 foul, according to the stat sheet. So, you know, we're fine with that one, even though that 1 foul was kind of a phantom call.
Yeah.
He's not benched and not having to sit the remaining of this first half because of foul trouble.
Murphy looking up the shot clock. That's down to 2 as he'll drive it. The scoop shot won't fall. And a whistle, and it's a shot clock violation. It never did touch the iron. Hit up by 2.
And you see Trey McGowan's maneuvering out top, but as he gets separation from David Johnson, and that's one of the issues with freshmen, you get stuck on the screens. I can remember my teammates when I was at Virginia always yelling at me like, stop getting stuck on the screen, stop getting stuck. David Johnson doesn't fight to get back into the space, and Trey McGowan's on that possession, giving McGowan pretty much a wide open 3.
Who's your teammate at Virginia who was toughest on you?
Early it was Anthony Oliver, Brian Stiff, Cornell Parker, because Parker was a big-time defender. He and Anthony Oliver were both, and they always had to guard the best perimeter player.
Yeah.
You know, I was an offensive specialist.
Oh, you were.
You know, my offense was my best defense.
Murphy shot off the back of the iron.
That was up to those guys to go guard all those good players. That wasn't my responsibility.
Right. Although I have a feeling they may have taught you another way. As McGowan has the theft, he'll drive it, and he's fouled. With 10:02 to go here in the half.
And that's what Trey McGowan does. 1.9 steals per game, 3rd in the ACC, and you see him just getting his hand on the basketball. And honestly, for the sake of the Louisville Cardinals, they have to be happy that David Johnson fouled him, because when he gets airspace, he will take off and attacks the rim.
So Trey to shoot 71%. He had 18 in their loss to Miami. Saturday, we have 2 more great ACC matchups coming up here on ACC Network at noon. A Sunshine State showdown. Florida State heading south to Miami, and then at 8 p.m. the defending national champion Virginia Cavaliers heading to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. Both games right here on the ACC network.
And Florida State, Miami, of course, is always Leonard Hamilton Bowl, who was the Big East Coach of the Year when he was coaching at Miami. Been the ACC Coach of the Year, of course, at Florida State, and actually was the gentleman who got Miami basketball back to resurgence when they evacuated their program for so many years.
Sutton with another long one, but not this time. Rebound comes out high. They've got numbers 3-on-2, and the bounce feed is going to roll out of play, but it's going to be tipped by Louisville. And Florida State riding a 7-game winning streak that included that win at the Yum Center against the Louisville Cardinals.
And that was a big statement to the ACC that the Seminoles were for real. We knew Louisville was, but them going into the Yum Center and winning that game was a big statement for the Noles. Now, will they be able to get away from what Florida State has done over the previous seasons where they've been really good, but they give up games? Lost the opener here at Pitt, and then they've been on the tear in the ACC ever since. But
oh, that's a 5-second violation. Did not get it in.
That's a tough spot to be able to take the basketball out as well.
Why is that?
Well, one, because you're right in front of the opposing team's bench, and they're whispering sweet nothings in your ear while you're over there trying to throw the basketball in. But it pins you almost in that corner and allows the defense really to be able to ramp up and getting to the denial.
Well, Louisville very tight D to get that turnover. Williamson out high. Here's Johnson. The pull-up pockets, his own shot. Not there. Big rebound, but it's going to be blocked away. Talk about getting up. Malik Williams, well, he's 6'11" anyway.
But Malik Williams, you see him getting out and hedging on the screen and rolls.
Swished in by Champagny, who hit a number of huge shots at Chapel Hill the other day, which proved to be fortuitous in that victory.
And the last time he played against Louisville, which was December the 6th, and as a freshman, he went 0 for 7 from the field overall, 0 for 4 from 3. So I'm sure he has to be happy to see that one go down. But
they get it to McMahon in the corner, but that glances off the rim. They'll get the second effort. He's got another one coming. Can't hit that one either. Williamson with a huge board. Right back up. No foul on the play. Johnson will pick it and drive it, and it's Williams with the foul as he went for the block.
You know what? But I love to see that from Xavier Johnson. Jeff Capel challenged him. When's the last time we've seen you try to dunk on somebody? Well, he had all intentions on that one. And a beautiful find to Justin Champagny. And we talked about earlier, he had the get hot shot. And then X going up. Malik not having it, but putting X at the line. And these two guys, of course, tremendous competitors. I don't think there is anyone more competitive in the ACC than Xavier Johnson.
Really?
Now, there may be some guys on his level, but no one is more competitive than this young man, which is his greatest strength and also at times can be, you know, something that hinders him because whenever he loses the basketball, he has a turnover, whatever it may be, he wants to go get it back immediately. As a point guard and someone so important to this team, he has to understand how valuable he is. And you look at him, you know, 15.5 points per game, down to 11.8. He's missed a lot of time due to foul trouble this season. Fouled out of 3 games and played in foul trouble in a number of them. So that's part of the reason why the numbers are down.
And you wonder, too, Corey, if he lets his emotions get away from him a little too much, and if he gets penalized once in a while, maybe even what we saw tonight by an official who's looking for something.
Well, one of the things you can do is build a reputation with officials, and especially in league play. If you do enough talking, and I'm not saying that Xavier Johnson is that guy, but if he is, if he's talking to the officials time and time again, it's something that they remember. You have to also remember these guys out here in stripes are human beings, and they have that memory. Sometimes they don't like to get rid of it.
McGowan's with an outstanding scoop shot on a reverse. So far, the play of the night. And that opens up a 24-15 lead for the Pitt Panthers.
And Trey McGowan's, when he is in attack mode, he is special. We talked about a career high a year ago against these Louisville Cardinals. 33 points on this floor, and he's off to a great start here tonight.
Dave O'Brien Corey Alexander and the talented Katie George with you. 24-15. What's going on with Louisville?
Well, they got off to a sluggish start, but this is the way that shoot-around went today. Chris Mack talked to him about if you go halfway in practice, you'll go halfway in the games, and we're seeing that byproduct right now. And we talked about this could be a trap game. They know they've got a big game coming up versus Duke on Saturday. They haven't performed well in their last 3 big games. Maybe they're thinking ahead.
Well, you know, a couple of long scoring droughts for the Cardinals. They're in one right now, about 3.5 minutes. A lot of balance for Pitt. They have 3 different players who have scored at least 6 points. And from the corner, the long one there by Williamson. He'll knock that in. And a shot they really needed to have.
And Samuel Williamson, the freshman, minutes have been a bit sporadic, but he's played in every game. Really the only freshman that's helping this team right now and in the rotation. And he has the ability to shoot the ball from beyond the arc and be a big-time scorer. And Chris Mack right now looking for any options to get his team playing better offensively.
McGowan's forced that pass. Got airborne and gave it away. So now Louisville needs a string of points here. Trying to cut into this lead. Here's Perry. And a traveling violation. Let's go over to Katie George.
Well, in that last Louisville huddle, Chris Mack was very animated. He's not pleased with the effort on the defensive end, especially in the lane. And he said, when we get an offensive rebound, we have to finish. We're missing out on opportunities on our end.
All right, Katie, thank you. 24-18 Pitt. Trying to bounce back from a tough loss over the weekend. Here's McGowan's up beyond the 3-point line, averaging 13 points a game, but capable of much, much more. Shot clock is at 4. McGowan's fires it up there and got it to go. A wild shot. He wanted a foul on the play. That was not forthcoming, but he buried it.
Well, he wanted to foul, and Darius Perry wanted to foul both those guys. Yes. We're looking at the officials after that one, but really a great job defensively by Perry. And, of course, great offense beats good defense anytime.
Louisville trying to get it down on the low block, and that one knocked in by Enoch, the 6'10 senior.
And that's where Louisville can go when they need a bucket. And Stephen Enoch, who did not have a very good shooting game against Notre Dame on Saturday, giving them a bucket on the block. But when you have a guy that can be an anchor offensively for you, throw the basketball in that close and get you a basket, that's what you have to do at times when you're struggling, especially to shoot the ball from the perimeter.
Pitt by 6. So far it's been their half. Here inside the zoo, here's McGowan's. That glances away. And a foul with 5:45 left in the half. That will go against the Pitt Panthers back to that previous bucket.
Darius Perry does a great job defending Trey McGowan's walls up. And you see McGowan's going glass to be able to finish that one. Both McGowan's and Perry looking for the foul in that possession. Great no call by this officiating staff, as we see now the Panthers going to a zone, going to force Louisville to try to beat them from the outside.
Montes Tony just picked up his second foul. Williamson on the drive with a scoop, no. And a rebound will be tipped out. And back over to the Panthers it goes with about 5.5 remaining. And then Louisville was #1 in the country back in December. We talked already a lot about the big showdown with Duke coming up on Saturday at Cameron Indoor. They've had losses to Texas Tech, Kentucky, and FSU so far. Here's Brown on the high post.
And Obi, you know, right now Louisville's had probably 4 big games. And in those big games, you got to say Michigan. And I believe you called the Michigan game.
Did,
right?
yes,
So
yeah.
you did that Michigan game. They were able to win. But since then, they haven't won any of those big games. They lost in the Garden to Texas Tech. They lost at Kentucky. And then against Florida State, a top 10 team, ranked #9 right now, they lost at home at the Yum Center. So I'm sure they're putting pressure on themselves about what they have upcoming on Saturday. And I think that may have something to do with the way that they've approached this game.
Yeah, you wonder, is it just impossible not to be thinking about facing the #2 team in the country they believe should be the #1 team or will be in short order?
I definitely think it's difficult not to think about it. But playing in this league, you always have to be in the moment. And in this moment right now, the Panthers have done a great job responding to their failure on Sunday and a quick turnaround. I mean, this is the 3rd game in 7 days for Jeff Capel's group.
Yep.
And to be able to come out with this energy early, you got to give the coaching staff as well as the players a lot of credit for their approach to this game tonight.
Louisville's Ryan McMahon with a foul. So Murphy over the top for Brown. And Pittsburgh going very deep into the shot clock consistently here in the first half. Now it's down to 10. Johnson. Awkward looking shot, didn't touch anything, and on the line it's going to be out of bounds.
And that's a great defensive possession by Fresh Kimball. That basketball has to go back to Louisville. Unless it hit the hands on the outline. Right here, Fresh Kimball does a great job hitting the basketball, but Xavier Johnson still shoots it. So we'll have to see, does Jordan Ward, that basketball should be going back to Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, to Louisville. Yeah, that was a great defensive possession by Fresh Kimball there.
It'll be Louisville ball. So looking for one of those patented runs that the Cardinals are known for.
But you see the zone by Pittsburgh, but yet Champagny as well as Tony on the back line are so spaced out. When you get the basketball in the middle of the floor right there, great recognition by the Cards. You've got Jordan Ward playing one-on-one against Terrell Brown. I'm going to take my chances on Ward winning that off more times than not.
We'll see if that foul here, we'll see if that starts to materialize because he's been really quiet. Look at Ward finding that space in the zone.
But you see how you have to respect the shooters. So now what you're doing by getting the ball in the middle of the floor, you're playing 2-on-1, Jordan Ward and Stephen Enoch against Terrell Brown. Terrell Brown's a great defender and shot blocker, but he's at a disadvantage having to play against those two guys.
Tony up high for Murphy. Champagny lost his dribble. Again, the shot clock a factor. It's at 5. Murphy's got to get a shot in the air, and that barely touches the iron off the backboard. So a rather ugly possession there for Pittsburgh. McMahon will catch and fire. That's a shot he can typically drain, but he's a little off the mark tonight.
Well, it has been 17 points for him, a season high on Saturday at Notre Dame. He's shooting the ball extremely well and playing with confidence. Hasn't been able to get on the mark in this one, but Katie mentioned about the huddle for Chris Mack and his team on last possession, and Louisville has picked up their effort on the defensive end of the floor ever since.
Fighting inside, he'll draw the foul, and Enoch will be at the line when we come back. 26-22 Pitt leading Louisville. Well, we will have our next women's basketball doubleheader next Thursday at 6 Eastern. Number 9 NC State hosting number 13 FSU at Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh. Then it's Muffin McGraw and Notre Dame taking on Duke at Cameron Indoor. Both teams right here on the ACC network. Notre Dame off to a tough start, 1-4 in the conference after making it to the national title game in consecutive years.
Interesting to see Notre Dame women struggle the way that they have.
Yeah, that's usually a given that they're number 1, number 2.
And I want to say I was looking at the highlights and they got beat by like 30 plus on Sunday.
Ugly.
I'm sure that's not familiar territory.
No, not for Muffin McGraw. Enoch at the line where he hits 70%. Spent his freshman and sophomore years at UConn, now a grad student.
But right now, for as well as Pittsburgh has played here in this first half, they find themselves now in a one-possession game, trying to find a way to put points on the board as Louisville is tightened up on the defensive end of the floor. And when you look at the Panthers, they don't have a guy they can throw the basketball to on the inside to go get them a bucket. They have to rely on the perimeter, which makes it so much more difficult because, of course, Louisville knows that as well.
The guy's tied up. Good defense on the play by Sutton. That'll trigger the break. Wara going one-on-one with Johnson right by him, and he'll lay it in.
And that's the first transition bucket for Jordan Ward. He does a lot of scoring in transition. Great recognition off of the defensive stop by Sutton to get the ball ahead to Ward and allow him to operate in space.
So it's been a steady comeback here for Louisville, showing you why they have been a top 10 program most of the season. Now number 11, tied at 26. That has certainly quieted the crowd here in Pittsburgh. Now at the Peterson Event Center, shot clock again, all the way down to 2. McGowan's looking for a blow-by of his own, and it's out of play.
And I've been counting Jordan Ward's defensive stops, and that was another beautiful one, of course. as you see him going to the basket, as Sutton comes up with a great stop there. Trey McGowan's is tough to keep in front of you, and Sutton does, and that leads to Jordan Ward getting to play one-on-one. Xavier Johnson doesn't want to pick up that foul, so doesn't put up enough resistance going to the basket. Ward's able to finish, but it was Jordan Ward coming up with another huge defensive stop, smacking the ball off the leg of Trey McGowan and regaining possession.
An issue with a student for the Pitt Panthers. And the officials, Mike Stevens, Mike Roberts, and Kip Kissinger, had problems with the crowd early in the game, asking him not to be throwing paper confetti at that time on the floor. They're going to eject this young man.
Well, fortunately for the Panthers, even though they've been warned, it did not turn into a technical foul. So, sorry, young man, but you got to take one for the team on this one. Better your ejection than the technical foul, giving the Cards more points.
Well, an 8-0 run here for the Cardinals. Rebound up and in as Enoch really stuck with it and has given the Cardinals the lead here with 1:44 to go in the half.
And that was the concern for Jeff Capel. How could they compete with the Cardinals on the glass? Both ends of the floor. Louisville, a very good rebounding team, and they can chase offensive rebounds as well as anybody, especially the size of Steven Enoch.
A 10-0 run here for the Cardinals. Who will answer this for the Pitt Panthers? As you said, they really don't have that step-up scorer. Here's Johnson. He nails it. Well, he stepped up for a triple.
And Xavier Johnson, of course, knocks down a huge shot, but give Trey McGowan's credit for once again creating an opportunity for his teammate. The dribble penetration and just a little bit of a help gave enough time to Xavier Johnson to be able to get that three off.
A minute to go before the break. Sutton. Kimball to the right hand. No. Fight for the rebound. And it'll go the other way. It'll be Pitt ball here.
And as soon as they surrender the lead, you see Trey McGowan's and the help by Fresh Kimball. And of course, you're taught to help, but you got to understand, Dwayne Sutton was still in good position with Trey McGowan going to that basket. You didn't need that much help, because if you don't help that much, Johnson doesn't have that much room to knock down the three ball and regain the lead for the Panthers.
So Pitt hoping to have that lead against the number 11 team in the country. Big battle for the rebound. Hamilton getting into the fray and a tie-up. Possession error will be for Pitt. And take a look at this block moments ago.
But when you consider who you're playing against, Malik Williams coming over, and again, he doesn't wait for the ball to get to his highest point. He gets it right out of McGowan's hands to come up with another defensive stop.
Well, it's been an entertaining first half. The Louisville Cardinals having to battle for everything here in the first 20 minutes. 37.5 seconds to go before the break.
And right now, 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock for the Panthers here on their end, trying to get another look to see if they can extend this lead. But will have to defend the Cardinals most likely to end the half.
Now, consistently tonight, Pittsburgh has been getting that shot clock down to 3 or 4. Happened again here. Hamilton slamming on the break, spinning his shot. He got it! He got it up in time! And he made it to put them up 31-28.
And Eric Hamilton must have been hearing me talk about they don't have a guy to throw it to on the block. Prove me wrong.
Final seconds of the half in Pittsburgh. Kimball around the back. Fires that pass for Williams. And that's how the first half comes to an end. And Pitt has to be delighted. They've got the number 11 team in the country down by 3 at halftime.
And gave up the lead, more importantly, but were able to gain it back. I'm sure Jeff Capel has to be happy with his team and recognizing they regained that lead.
Well, you called the game a danger zone before we even started. Let's go to Katie.
Jeff, earlier today at shoot-around, you told your team be ready to fight from the start for 40 minutes. What did you think of their efforts in the first 20?
I'm sorry. We've done it for 20 minutes. We have to go in and regroup right now. We have to do it again. We have to move the ball on offense. We got stuck at 26 because the ball got stuck in our hands. We have to move it, get them moving side to side, and then look to attack.
Defensively, you hold Louisville to 35% from the field. What needs to continue on that end?
We got to keep fighting. We have to understand, have the awareness for Wara, keep them out of our paint, contest shots, and then we have to finish it with rebounding.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, they've actually done a very good job on Wara for the most part, who came in averaging 21 points and about 8 rebounds a game. Second half coming your way. Join us for the halftime spectacular in just a moment here from Pittsburgh. Pitt Panthers on top of Louisville, 31-28 after the first 20 minutes. ACC basketball brought to you by Geico, and tonight in Pittsburgh, where the Panthers have a 3-point lead on the Louisville Cardinals, 31-28, ready for the second half. Moments ago, Katie George catching up with Chris Mack.
Chris, down by 3. What was your biggest takeaway in that first half?
Well, I thought in the very beginning of the game, Pittsburgh was really physical. We missed some stuff around the basket. I really liked our team's response, get down whatever it was, 8 or 9 points. And then I thought our energy level on the defensive end really amped up. And then we started finishing a little bit through contact, which we're going to have to do in the second half in order to win the game.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, they were down by 9 in that first half. Rallied to briefly take the lead. Want to clean up one thing in the first half. Xavier Johnson, we assumed was called for a foul. Would have been a phantom foul at the time. The officials explained to us he was not whistled for a foul. It was for flopping. It was a warning on that play.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Stevens coming over to us after halftime, explaining it to us, and again, getting in the cylinder. And I honestly, when I saw the signal, I thought he was calling a cylinder foul, but the symbol was for the flopping, putting the arms down. So, and he basically felt as though Xavier Johnson pulled his head back as if he got fouled with an elbow. So much. I'm happy that was cleaned up. Because, again, and I was wondering why Xavier Johnson still had 1 foul.
Right.
So glad that was cleaned up.
It's been a point of emphasis this year.
It really has.
And the officials, I think, have done a very good job trying to clean up that end of play.
Yep, and I appreciate Michael Stevens coming over and talking to us about that and clearing it up. And again, great official. And I'm not saying that it was or was not a flop. I wasn't paying much attention to that, but it was not a foul, and I'm glad to see that no foul was called on Xavier Johnson for that play.
Trying to get Wara going. Pretty quiet first half. Just a handful of points. He's going to turn it over. Trying to muscle his way. That'll start the break. Tony runs it beautifully. And the basket by Eric Hamilton on the other end. So a very nice start.
You see the double team on Wara on the block. And again, you have the ability to play Jordan Wara in the post with his 6'8" size. But going to him on the block allows Pittsburgh to be able to double team him. He's going to have to get rid of the basketball and allow his teammates to be successful.
Perry's jumper off target, and the whistle in the paint in the opening seconds of the second half. Let's go back to the turnover moments ago by Jordan Wara.
And Chris Mack makes an effort to get the basketball to Jordan Wara in the post, but you see Xavier Johnson getting in there and what is called digging. He's not going all the way in and double teaming, but he's there to where if Wara puts the ball on the ground, he can swipe it away.
And slapped to the backcourt. Champagny. Enoch had that foul a couple of seconds ago for Louisville. Here's Johnson. Tony thought about it. Hamilton will fall away.
And Hamilton was the guy who actually made the bucket at the end of the first half to give the Panthers a 3-point lead. And they have decided they are going to give him their opportunities on the block to be able to play against Enoch as Fresh Kimball, a Pennsylvania native, steps up and knocks down the 3 ball to make it a 2-point game. Fresh hailing from Philly.
And don't call him Lamar. Even his head coach figured that out pretty quickly. He called him Lamar a couple of times, and Lamar said, "Coach, please go with Fresh. Everybody else does. Nobody else knows who you're talking about. So please go that way." And he does. McGowan's. Champagny. And a travel. So a turnover here for the Pitt Panthers. 2-point game.
An opportunity for the Cards to tie this game up again or take the lead. And right now, going to be interesting to see if they continue to try to establish Jordan Wara. And, you know, one of the things you can do when you've got a guy with special talent like that, you can play through him, but Wara's going to have to be a willing passer against the double team.
And again, Pitt held him to 4 points in the first half. One of the top players, not just in the ACC, but in the country.
Well, I think he has to be in the National Player of the Year consideration as Darius Perry lets a 3 go, but there's that guy again, Dwayne Sutton on the offensive glass, only to be denied by Justin Champagny.
Champagnie with the block on the baseline. I think you're absolutely right. When you start looking seriously, and it's fairly early yet, we're like the midway point of the college basketball season. That's a tough drive in traffic by Tony, and he'll draw the foul. You start going down those names, I mean, he's right there at the top.
He has to be, and then, of course, you also have to consider, wait a minute.
That's a tee on Chris Mack. Technical foul. Chris Mack has been teed up. 33-31. Already a male student has been ejected. One of the Pitt Panther fans. Enoch had picked up a foul, his second, and Champagnie at the line.
I have to say that Chris Mack gets the calmest technical fouls I've ever seen. I mean, again, when you think about it, and honestly, when he got the tech, he walked back, he sat down, he may have waved off Michael Stevens, but again, he didn't get animated. As you see him come up, he wants the foul call, doesn't get it. And again, it's not, of course, we can't hear what he said, but he doesn't look that emphatic. He wants that to be a travel instead of a foul call on his player. But I like the fact that he did not lose his cool and did not hurt his team by being irate and getting a second technical foul and ejected out of this game.
So Champagnie makes the foul shots related to the tee. And now Tony at the line as he was fouled by Enoch, and he swishes it in. So Pitt extending the lead to 36-31.
Remember, we were just looking at a 2-point game, and now you have Tony with an opportunity to make this a 6-point game, and just like that, you allow the Panthers to have some separation. Tony unable to knock down that free throw. But it makes it that much tougher for a Louisville team that spent a lot of effort to get back to taking that 1-point lead in the first half. And now they find themselves in the 5-point hole once again.
Or trying to dump it inside, and a block on the play by Champagnie, but a whistle.
And that's going to be an offensive foul on Stephen Enoch. And right now, of course, when you have that one technical foul, there's only so much you can say when you're Chris Mack on that possession.
Enoch, with his third, has to hit the bench. Yeah, that does tend to muzzle the coach a little bit. 14 fouls already for Louisville. So keep an eye on that. Here's Johnson. And a reach-in foul by Kimball.
But you know what? Look at Fresh. Fresh acknowledged it. Okay, listen, he fell down. He didn't want Xavier Johnson to get an advantage. He just grabbed him. But I love the fact that he put his hand up, acknowledged the foul. Hey, I got him. I stopped the play. But as you mentioned, that's the 15th foul already. In a little over 3 minutes played here in the second half, so we can see the Panthers in bonus early in this game in the second half.
McGowan's to drive it, spins it up there. That won't drop. Hamilton in traffic has it batted away and stolen by Sutton, but he gives it right back. The theft by Tony. McGowan's a wild-looking shot, and as you say, very fast.
No, and a floater. That's the worst part about it.
Wara lines it up and drills it. Boy, that really makes him pay.
It does, and that's where Jordan Wara is so special. You have to be able to account for him in transition. He's got a very quick trigger along the three-point line when he gets out in open space. And, of course, off of turnovers and bad shots, which all floaters are bad shots, you get out in transition.
Here's Tony. Long distance and a three-pointer.
And I watched him shooting the ball before the game. He looked very comfortable beyond the three-point arc, and that one neutralizes the three given up to Wara on the opposing possession.
39-34 Pitt. Trying to pull off an upset tonight. Baseline spin. Williamson out will roll off the iron.
That was a grown man rebound by Justin Champagnie as well. Had 11 boards at Miami and showing you that he's capable of being that guy that can go in and rebound out of his area.
Hamilton's fall away. Too strong. Champagnie came lunging in, and he commits the foul.
Well, we had a little bit of a shootout here in front of the Oakland Zoo. Jordan Ward knocking down the three in transition, and then Aldis Toney finding the three at the top of the key.
39-34 here in Pittsburgh, where a few days ago Jeff Capel was weary that his team would have a hangover after the North Carolina win. So on Saturday during practice before leaving for Miami, Capel sent a couple managers to the office to print hundreds of copies of paper that read "Hungry for More." The managers then taped the saying all over the bus, on the windows, the seats, the headrest, in hopes to remind players that they had not arrived with that one win. Sadly, the idea failed. Capel said his team got what they deserved in Miami, but guys, they've responded in a big way here tonight against Louisville.
Yeah, I'd like to find out what he put around the locker room before tonight's game.
Well, he actually probably just kept the sheets from before, like the Geico commercial, where they had the gecko print up all the sheets.
Traveling.
And then he simply said, we're going to pump the brakes on it. Well, they pumped the brakes on it. They used them today, and it's worked for Jeff Capel and his group.
Well, whatever he's done, it's been effective to this point, but a long way to go yet against a very, very good team with about 15 minutes to go, and Pitt has the basketball.
And you also have to understand, this team has been good at home. When you think about the Panthers, they knocked off Florida State, a top 10 team in the country here, opening night of ACC play and opening night of the season. They are comfortable in this building.
Now, Pitt has been in absolutely no hurry all night on the shot clock. It's down to 5 and another whistle.
And they're going to get Terrell Brown the offensive foul, not getting set on that screen. And I would say 50% of the time when that happens, it's the guard's fault. But Xavier Johnson, recognizing only 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock, had to try to make something happen.
And number 2 on Terrell Brown, 6'10" junior from Providence, Rhode Island. Now, the guy who's been pretty much missing in action offensively has been Wara tonight. That one will spin out on his jumper. So on cue right there. He certainly played like the preseason All-American that he was selected as. That jumper knocked down by Brown.
And Terrell Brown can make that shot. You have to respect him out to about 17 to 18 feet, a capable shooter, and that's where the Panthers' big men do. We've seen Hamilton knock down the jump shot as well as Brown. So both these guys are capable shooters, but they're not guys who score with their back to the basket.
Kimball off the miss, harassed underneath up against Brown. It's blocked 2 times. Both Brown and Shedpenny got a hand on it. And a frustration foul here by the Cardinals.
And that's going to be on Wara, and he and Aldis Toney both going after the basketball. But on that possession, and honestly, when you see Fresh Kimball in the paint here, takes the dribble over, that's a possession where, okay, listen, at maybe 6 feet, I'm in here with Terrell Brown, a top 5 shot blocker in Pitt history. Instead of taking one dribble to try to get another shot, take about 5 and get out of the paint and reset offensively.
Well, foul here against the Pitt Panthers. And that'll go against Ryan Murphy. So the whistle's a big factor here in the last 2 or 3 minutes. McMahon. And another foul. They'll get Murphy again.
And that is actually invading the cylinder. You know, the cylinder signal and the flop signal are pretty similar.
Pretty close.
One just has the hands downward while the other are vertical. And Jeff Capel talked to his team in shoot-around earlier today about getting into the cylinder. He did not want his guys getting that close. He wanted to give them a step. Of course, you've got to beware of the shooter, especially that guy, Jordan Ward.
Yes, and that's one he really needed. He's 44% beyond the three-point line. It's been a non-factor pretty much tonight until this moment. So they get 41-36.
And at this point in the game, Obi, do we see Jordan Ward just say, you know what, give me the basketball. Let me just start going to make plays.
Felt like it on that play.
Yeah, it did. And he's been doing a great job of allowing the game to come to him, playing within the offense. But at some point, when you're talking about a guy that goes and gets you 21 a night, I think he's going to try to make plays on his own.
Now, no basket on the play as Johnson is fouled. There have been 13 fouls already.
And this is just tough to guard. This is great one-on-one basketball. The step back, 3-ball from Jordan Ward. And it did look like the foot was on the line on that one. Did they give him 3 or did they give him 2 on that possession?
Well, there was a 3 signal. When they go back and take a look at it, they can do that during the commercial break. They can go to the monitor on that.
Actually, I think they gave him 2 because I believe Louisville was sitting on 34, so they called that a 2. They will go check it, I'm sure. But from our replay, it looked as though his foot was on the line.
Johnson with another one coming. 13:09 left. And nails it. 42-36 Pittsburgh and pressure.
And this is one of the areas where the Panthers really like to make life difficult for their opponents. The full court pressure. Xavier Johnson has the ability to pressure the basketball, but has to be cognizant of making sure he doesn't get in foul trouble.
Shot clock to 10. Rolling War blocked by Champagnie. Well, he's had a few of them here tonight.
He really has, and that's following the scouting report. We watched Jeff Capel get out and getting a defensive stance and show his team how you had to do this today. Justin Champagnie in the right spot, staying in help, and recognizing that the slip was coming up the screen and coming up with the block shot. And took me back to watching Jeff play defense today and shoot around, and he just didn't ever do that in college.
Or off balance, a floater, no. Rebound comes free. Louisville with another opportunity. Here's McMahon. Johnson tried to slither that pass into the lane. Picked off by Murphy. He will drive it and blocked by Wara. Second effort now for Pitt. Can't get that one to fall. Suck coming out of the pack. Johnson. He'll draw the foul. And head to the line, 12-13 to go. Louisville still trying to cut in.
Well, and sometimes you have to dunk it, or otherwise this happens. Jordan Ward, the chase down block, defending the rim. Tony does a great job getting in there on the offensive rebound. But once again, when you find yourself amongst the trees, if you're not a tree yourself, sometimes it's better to get it out of the paint.
If you're not a tree yourself,
yes. You know, sometimes you got to be the tree.
Tony just picked up his third foul. So Johnson at the line. David Johnson, freshman, is a hometown kid from Louisville, from Trinity High School. So Tony hitting the bench. And now corrected 4 fouls on Tony. Williams and Tony, part of a double technical. So that's how he just picked up number 4.
Yeah, and that's a problem, and you have to recognize. And again, you see Jason Capel talking to these Tony, and you love the passion, but you have to understand your importance to the team. Are these Tony just getting back in the lineup versus Miami? And the rotation for the Panthers was way off without him in the lineup. Picking up that 4th foul could be huge, especially with 12 minutes remaining in this game.
McGowan's a concerted effort there and draws the foul. It has been getting chippy. There was a technical on Chris Mack earlier. A fan has been ejected. The officials are trying to settle this thing down, and here's what happened moments ago, resulting in the double T. Friday at 9 Eastern, we have the debut of Bald Men on Campus, our weekend studio basketball show, previewing the weekend's ACC slate of games. The follically challenged Jay Billis, LaFonso Ellis, and Seth Greenberg will be the hosts.
I heard about this thing going on. I feel discriminated against because I have hair. This is called hair discrimination.
You and I both.
Yeah. I mean, so we can't be on the show because we have hair?
Apparently not.
Tell you what,
there should be some sort of investigation. But you know what? They all have to look out for one thing on camera with those lights. Shine.
The shine.
Gotta look out for that shine, man.
Yeah, see, we don't have that problem.
We do not. Proud to say. 42-38. Pitt at the line. McGowan's will drain it. Came in averaging 13 points a game and 33 against Louisville here last season. Johnson to the paint, to the right hand, lays it in. That's a strong move.
It really is. And when you watch David Johnson play, you see the potential. Why Chris Mack raves about him and how special he's going to be for the Cards. But right now, defensively, as well as handling the basketball, limiting turnovers, have been a struggle for the freshman who missed the first 4 games of the season and is still rounding into playing shape and, of course, trying to learn a new game.
Champagnie with a little slip there. He came up grimacing. McGowan spinning off the window for 2. An acrobatic shot to make it 45-40.
And Trey McGowan is athletic enough to make tough shots, as well as come down the other end of the floor and giving up about 4 to 5 inches. Guard Jordan Wara.
Wara just took a tumble. Johnson will drive it again. Went for the slam. It came off the iron.
Well, you heard me talk about his athleticism. Unable to finish the dunk, but it turns out to be even better because Johnson knocks down the 3. If I could miss a dunk and get a wide open 3 off of that, I'd do that every time down the floor.
Got that shooting touch.
Shooting 50%. I like it.
And a shove on the near side, right in front of the Pitt bench. Back to that missed dunk, but then he followed it up with a triple.
Well, David Johnson trying to get in the Sports Center top 10, unable to do it, so he has to settle for the 3, which I'll take that.
And missed the first 4 games of the season to injury, making his presence felt here tonight in Pittsburgh. Johnson at the line, a 74% foul shooter. And Eric Hamilton, the 6'9" grad out of Atlanta, will return, and Terrell Brown goes to the bench. And let's bring in Katie George.
Well, guys, in that last huddle, Louisville is trying to design a play to get Jordan Wara, Ryan McMahon a 3 to get them going on the perimeter. They're also not playing through the contact offensively as much as Chris Mack would like.
Well, there's been a lot of contact. There's been plenty of that. A lot of fouls, many more than in the first half already. As Johnson swings the pass, it's tipped out of play by Champagne. And, of course, we've had 3 technical fouls and a Pittsburgh fan ejected.
It's my type of basketball.
The ejection, by the way, was for language. 10:09 to go.
Wait. So the fan was ejected for language?
Yes.
Who heard him?
A lot of it. The officials did. Mike Stevens, Mike Roberts, Kip Kissinger heard him loud and clear, apparently. On the roll, here's Enoch going up strong, but he can't finish it. About batted around, and the Panthers have it.
That is a play that is going to drive Chris Mack crazy. Stephen Enoch, 6'10", extremely athletic, goes up against Justin Champagne at 6'6". You got to dunk that, because when you don't, it turns out to be a bucket on the other end of the floor for Xavier Johnson.
And he just knocked it in to make it 49-43. The zoo being heard loud and clear. That one poked away, but not far enough. Wara will launch it and hit it.
And that was a fortunate play from Wara. Trey McGowan does a great job knocking the basketball out of his hands. Wara able to recover, and of course, with his confidence, knocks down the 3.
We have 2 more great ACC matchups right here on the ACC Network. At noon, we have the Sunshine State Showdown, Florida State heading south to Miami. And then at 8, the defending national champs, Virginia Cavaliers, they go to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. Both games right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Miami besting Pitt on Sunday. Coral Gables, they play NC State tomorrow night. Virginia has lost consecutive ACC games after a 3-0 start.
Well, you know, what's gotten Virginia is the fact that the ACC changed the schedule to 20 games. Because when it was 18 games, which I believe was about 5 or 6 years, Tony Bennett and the Virginia Cavaliers owned the 18-game schedule. Not as great with 16. When it went to 18, they were spectacular. And 20 has been a little bit rough thus far.
Hamilton in traffic, dribbling it off his foot. And deflected off of Louisville. So it'll be Pitt basketball with 9:01 to go in the game, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Inbounded for Murphy. He won't wait, he fires. Here come the Cardinals now, an opportunity to tie on a 3, and they have been hitting their 3s in the second half, 4 for 6. Over the top, off the fingertips of Enoch.
And a nice idea by Samuel Williamson getting into the paint, looking at Enoch for the lob, just unable to finish it off. And that's been the type of night it's been thus far for the Cards. And right now, Chris Mack trying to recognize, does his team have what it takes to be able to fight back and win these games? And Jeff Capel is liking what he's seeing from his Panthers pretty much for the 31 minutes before 31 minutes we played already.
Foul with 8:25 on the clock. Clemson has been giving the Duke Blue Devils all they can handle tonight, but Duke is now taking a 1-point lead. And it'll be 2 shots here. War with his second personal to put McGowan's at the line.
We've already seen the chippiness between Tony and Malik Williams. Now we've got a little bit of conversation going on between Trey McGowan's and Jordan Ward, 2 of the ACC's finest. I don't mind it. I'll be honest with you, I don't mind it. I was known to maybe speak a word or 2 on the court.
You got a little chirpy?
You know, I mean,
express your opinion.
It was all in fun, but at the same time, I think when you take away, the ability to be able to talk trash to each other, and again, there are limits to it, but you don't allow guys to be able to play basketball. That's part of the game.
McMahon, yes, a 3-pointer.
That's part of his game, Ryan McMahon, and that's off a trap. Great recognition by David Johnson. And again, we've talked about the point guard by committee for the Cards, and tonight, David Johnson, especially here in the second half, has been the guy getting his number called and playing very well.
Gowans finds himself wide open, and he rattles in a 2-pointer.
Speaking of playing well, Trey McGowans continues his strong effort.
Yep, nice night. 15 points for Trey McGowan's, the sophomore. McMahon just drained a 3. The drive and kick, and Enoch with the stop.
But that's the zone once again for the Panthers. And that guy in the back was Hamilton on that possession. When you get penetration inside that zone, you're putting him in a tough position because he's playing 1-on-2, and McMahon coming at him with the ability to shoot. Once you step up, he drops it off to Enoch for the dunk.
Pass slithered inside, but a foul. 7:14 to go. And a foul against Louisville. Enoch moments ago with some authority.
Well, it hasn't been a great night for Stephen Enoch, but of course when he gets the basketball this close to the basket, he recognized how to do damage. Trey McGowan has continued to play great basketball for the Pitt Panthers, and he's doing it in so many different ways. Getting to the basket, tough finishes, the ability to shoot the pull-up jump shot, and continues to get to the rim, putting pressure on the Louisville defense, making tough shots. All the way to 15 points thus far with 7:14 remaining in this game, and the Panthers holding the slim lead.
You're right. He's probably made 2 or 3 of the most difficult shots anybody on either side has made in this game.
Well, he's a great athlete. Let's start with that. I'm not even saying good. Great athlete with a tremendous motor. His ability to defend the basketball and make plays, averages close to 2 steals per game, 3rd in the ACC. But yet offensively, he can put so much pressure on your defense because he loves to play getting downhill, attacking the basket.
Hamilton shooting 2. So the 2 leading scorers coming in. Although Wara has started to heat up over the last 5 or 6 minutes.
And these 2 guys, of course, have gotten engaged in a bit of conversation throughout this second half. Jordan Ward getting a little bit of a break right now, as Trey McGowan takes on the assignment of guarding David Johnson, who's gotten comfortable. And that was a quick break for War. And immediately, as soon as War steps back into the game, Trey McGowan switches his assignment and goes over to guard War.
And Chris Mack needs him back on the floor. War, a preseason All-American. He did weigh leaving school for the NBA, but he chose to stay and immediately helped make Louisville a Final Four contender.
And Ward's actually not going to be able to come back into the game because with the free throws, no time went off of the clock. And so because no time went off the clock with Ward out of the game, he's going to have to sit this possession. And Samuel Williamson will check back in. So Xavier Johnson will guard Williamson, and Trey McGowan will guard David Johnson and try to put some pressure on the basketball, bring it up the floor until Ward comes back in.
That's the rule. No time coming off the clock. The bounce in for McMahon. So the Cardinals with the basketball, down by 4. It's been uphill for them all night long. They trailed by as many as 9 in the first half. They did come back to briefly take a lead. Sutton on the attack with the kick. And McGowan's will pick up the foul. But contact there. There have been a ton of fouls in the second half. That went on Trey his second.
And Pittsburgh is a team that doesn't foul much at all. Opponents only average making a little over 8 free throws per game, but they had back-to-back games early in this year where two teams only made 1 free throw against them in consecutive games.
Williamson, the McDonald's All-American, that's in and out.
And I'm not saying that it was intentional, but Samuel Williamson knows if he makes those free throws, he's coming out of the game.
And Ward's waiting there at the scorer's table. Way downtown McGowan's, but not this time.
Well, defensive breakdown. No one getting to McGowan's, getting a wide open look. But
mishandled by Louisville, however, right back over to Pitt it goes. Right in front of the zoo. And now Williamson out and Wara back in. Wara also a 2-time academic All-American. Is coached by his dad, Alex, on the Nigerian national team in China at the FIBA World Cup.
Nigerian team actually qualified for the 2020 Olympics, so more than likely Jordan Wara will be playing in the Olympics this summer.
Murphy with a swing to McGowan's. He'll drive it. Well, it's another difficult shot, but it won't drop. Rebound free and shoveled out of play by McMahon of Louisville. They've had a difficult time hanging on to a couple of them down on this end.
Well, the 50-50 balls have eluded Louisville in this game. Pittsburgh has definitely been quicker, too, and gained many more of those 50-50 balls. Part of the reason why they have the 4-point lead. And I'm sure that that's something that can bother Chris Mack. He is about energy and effort, and I'm not sure he's gotten the best out of his team here tonight.
Going to call an offensive foul here on Johnson. So he picks up the personal. Xavier Johnson on the drive, his second.
It was tough to see from the angle we had live. Didn't know if Xavier Johnson extended that left forearm or not. But of course, the faithful here of the Peterson Event Center does not like the call.
Yes, they have voiced their opinions more than once tonight. Johnson, nice hesitation, went for the tip and missed it. So yet another occasion where Louisville has an opportunity to cut into the lead, and Pitt shuts them down. Murphy slithering in, that's blocked. And another foul on the play with 5:36 to go. And tough to get an easy shot in this one.
It really is. When you attack the basket against Louisville, it's not just a primary defender that you have to beat, but you also have to consider that it's Stephen Enoch or Malik Williams, even Jordan Wara coming over to attempt to block your shot when you're getting on the glass.
Foul goes on McMahon, a 6-foot senior, to put Brown at the line. He's 67% there. We have our next women's basketball doubleheader for you next Thursday, 6 Eastern. Number 9 NC State taking on number 13 Florida State. And it's Muffin McGraw and Notre Dame battling Duke at Cameron Indoor. Both games right here on the ACC network. Florida State number 2 in offense in the ACC, and NC State number 2 in defense.
Ryan Murphy taking a break. These Tony back in the game, playing with those 4 fouls. Have to remember, picked up that 4th with the technical. So he's got to be cautious, and which is tough to do, especially when you're having to take on the task of guarding Jordan Wara.
Coming up on 5 minutes to go. Look at Brown play some defense. Something with it. 3 to get off a shot. Here's McMahon from 3. And the hustle to get that one up, and that's out of play. Back over to the Pitt Panthers.
And applause from the crowd here on a great defensive possession. Give Terrell Brown credit for hedging that screen and roll all the way out to half court.
I'll tell you what, defense goes over very, very well with this crowd. Hustle, determination, heart and soul, that goes over really big here in Pittsburgh.
And the zoo is jumping as the let-go pink chants come out. And you have to appreciate the way the zoo has supported Jeff Capel in this program. And these guys tonight have shown up and given them a great performance against one of the top teams in the country.
Well, they just beat North Carolina on the road. And obviously a down year, very down year for the Tar Heels, but that's an outstanding win nonetheless. Scrambled for that one on the baseline, picked up by Kimball. And now an opportunity to knock off a number 11 opponent. The swing for the corner, and that's swished in by Sutton. They needed that shot.
And that is reminiscent of the three-point shot he made on the road at Notre Dame just on Saturday in a very similar situation when his team needs a bucket, and he actually came up and knocked another big three down to give them a lead in that game. And Dwayne Sutton becoming that go-to guy in crunch time for the Cards.
Gallons will draw the foul on the drive. As he gets it, that's the 20th foul that has been whistled since halftime. And that one will go against Sutton. He picks up his second. So McGowan's to the line. Trey McGowan's, who has really been the go-to guy here tonight for the Pitt Panthers, makes number one. Nothing but net every Sunday. Our weekly basketball studio show, previewing the week and look back at the best games from last week. Highlights, analysis, insights. This week's show at 8 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app.
Now that's a great show. I just got a question mark up about this. What is it? Bald men on basketball?
Bald guy talking basketball, whatever that is. That's just madness. Bald men on hoops, whatever the heck it is. But
it can't be bald men on campus, so that should never happen.
Under 4 minutes to go. Dangerous pass. It gets once again to the corner. Warwick can't hit it though. And Pitt continues to hold on to a slender lead here at home. 58-54.
And give the Panthers credit. They've been able to do that the entire second half of this game. And of course, the later you go here on their home court, the better it normally serves for you.
Back over to the Cardinals here. 3:25 remaining in the contest. Tight one brewing down the stretch. ACC Network Basketball presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. This is a hot ticket for the NFL guys. James Conner is here tonight, Pittsburgh Steelers, among others.
And you've got, of course, Aaron Donald, defensive player of the year in the building, as well as Ryan Shazier, who is always going to be a Steeler favorite.
And enjoying what has been a very hard-fought and at times pretty frisky battle.
Well, I'm sure they can appreciate the physical nature that we've had in this game. And, I love it. Again, I know that there's a lot of the effort to get physicality out of the game of basketball, but honestly, I believe that the college game is probably more physical now than the NBA game, and I can appreciate the fact that all of the physicality hasn't left.
Sutton putting his head down, but draws the foul before the shot. 3:10 to go. Yet, in some ways, has felt a little throwbacky tonight, like to the days of the Big East, the old days of the Big East.
Well, these are two of the teams that came over from the Big East to the ACC. Of course, Louisville spending a year in the American Athletic Conference, but the battles that have gone on between these two teams have been historic, to say the least.
Champagny with his third foul. Sutton can't connect at the line, so can't cut into that lead. 58-54 Pitt. Under 3 to go. McGowan's trying to go one-on-one on Sutton. Shot clock under 10 again. That's been happening all night long for the Panthers. Johnson launches. Rebound tipped out. They'll get another opportunity. They're going to fire right away. Backed in by McGowan's. Off the glass. Thank you very much.
That was the shot where everyone in the building said, no! Yes!
One of the few times tonight they didn't win. Blocked out of the sky by Brown, but right back up and in. And an and one with 2:18 to go.
Well, when you coming down the stretch of games, as Xavier Johnson misses a three, give Justin Champagny credit for tipping it out. But this is not a shot that you need. You can kill more time. You've got 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. You can kill. Trey McGowan's doesn't use it, does use the glass, knocks down the three. But then, of course, Terrell Brown picking up the foul after a big-time block, allowing Malik Williams to have an opportunity for the three-point play.
And that's exactly what he does. 61-57. McGowan's, by the way, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. So approaching the 2-minute mark here at the Peterson Event Center.
And you will see they want to take away his right hand. Dwayne Sutton guarding the right hand of Trey McGowan. Chris Mack talked about that a lot in shoot around today.
He needs some help, and he takes a timeout. 1:56 to go, 8 on the shot clock at the time of the timeout.
8 seconds, more than enough time to be able to get a quality look, and more importantly, to get the basketball in the hands of Trey McGowan, who's your hot hand, and get headed to the rim.
He's also our Zaxby's player of the game with just under 2 minutes to go. Trey McGowan's a major night, 20 points, and just hit that bank 3.
And Trey from South Carolina, so very familiar with Zaxby's, as am I. I know everyone going down 85.
They're very familiar with the ACC, no question.
I'm glad that's a Zaxby's award now.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can use that for any type of gift certificate or something.
I was about to say, there's got to be a gift certificate in your future from Zaxby's.
Got to be some type of perk.
In fact, the more you whine about not having it on the air, that increases the likelihood it'll happen.
Okay. I appreciate the knowledge you just gave me on that.
I have a feeling that you'll have something in the mail by the end of the night headed your way, Corey. 2 to get up a shot. Is Brown off the back iron. So this has been the case all night long. Every time Louisville, with the exception of the moment they took a brief lead in the first half, has cut into the lead, they have been shut down. Pitt trying to do it again.
And now David Johnson actually getting his opportunity at the end of the game, playing alongside Fresh Kimball. And it's been a different backcourt seemingly every game for Chris Mack. And this time it's Johnson to Kimball for the big 3 to make it a 1-point game.
Fresh on the money. It's a 1-point game. McGowan's for Johnson. Approaching 1 minute to play. Johnson on the attack. Airborne. May have forced that shot. And Louisville comes away with it under 1 minute to play as they try and take a rare lead for themselves tonight. Johnson. And he's going to pick up a foul. He's going to be hit on the play by McGowan's.
And the freshman, David Johnson, stepping up in big moments, recognizing where the open man was. The grad transfer, Fresh Kimball, in his home state, knocking down a huge 3. And now Johnson at the free throw line with an opportunity not only to tie, but give the Cards a lead.
With 49.5 seconds to go, the Louisville kid misses the first one. The freshman now trying to tie the game. And he rattles in the second one. 61-61.
I like Jeff Capel right here, getting the timeout, getting his team organized, exactly what they need to do. 46.9 remaining. And getting Ryan Murphy into the game, getting the other shooter on the floor. Going to be interesting to see if they actually play small ball here, taking out Terrell Brown.
Well, coming up next at Winston-Salem, we send you there as soon as we finish this one up. Brandon Childress, he is standing by at 15 points per game. Virginia Tech at Wake. I know you like this fella.
I really do. Landers Nolley, who got his ACC career started off with a 30 ball at Clemson. And, you know, Virginia Tech probably has to be my surprise team of the year. We've seen the big win for them over Michigan State and Maui, but now 3-2 in ACC play. Mike Young doing a great job in Blacksburg.
We'll see if Wake can bounce back from the thumping they took in the hands of the Duke Blue Devils over the weekend. 61-61. Coach Capel drawing up a play. Who gets the basketball?
I got to go with Trey McGowan right here. Going downhill, Louisville will be steady on his right hand, and Dwayne Sutton getting that assignment. But I've got to get the ball in the hands of Trey McGowan to allow him to make a play.
Johnson bounces for Murphy. Shot clock down to 11. McGowan's on the dribble. And a kick ball, 26.5 to go.
Well, that's big because that kick ball resets the shot clock to 20 seconds. They were down to 7, so now Pittsburgh gets to hold the basketball until at least 6. When you think about it, down to probably about 5 seconds remaining on the clock before they even go.
And they've been doing that all night. Murphy thought about it from about 27 feet.
And he thought better of it. Now you've got the 5 that we talked about with McGowan's making a play.
His 3. High off the window. It's tipped. Controlled by Wara. 2 seconds. Here's the heave by Sutton. He can't hit it. And this game is going to overtime. 61-61. All tied up at the end of regulation. Pittsburgh and Louisville into OT. Well, these two teams are making this a habit, Louisville and Pittsburgh.
They are. It was an overtime game here a year ago. Pittsburgh actually was the winner in that game, upsetting Louisville, who was coming off of a win in Chapel Hill. So right now, a little bit of deja vu between these two teams.
Pittsburgh's first overtime game of the season. Louisville is 0-1. They lost in OT to Kentucky. So 61-61, and we continue to play tonight in the Zoo. Pittsburgh trying to spring the upset. They're 11-5. Louisville trying to avoid one at 13-3 and 4-1 in the ACC. So 5 minutes up on the clock, underway in overtime, and Pitt wins the tip. Will pull up and pop and can't hit the first shot in overtime. And a whistle. Foul will go against the Cardinals as Tony hit the deck.
But that's what Adese Tony does. Averages over 2 offensive rebounds per game. And you see him going in, maintaining extra possessions for his team. And now the opportunity to get an early lead in this overtime session.
Foul number 4 on Stephen Enoch. As Tony went down. Tony's 72% foul shooter, missing on number 1. They were delighted to get him back after missing a couple of games with that elbow injury.
Just like that, Malik Williams off the bench back into the lineup for the Cards. And Williams probably a better defensive option for Louisville. You would have to give the edge offensively to Enoch, who's a better post presence right now. But what a luxury to have if you're Chris Mack. 2 centers, which are rare in even college basketball nowadays, that you can play and trust, especially at crunch time.
Johnson shredding the Dean. He'll lay it in. Oh, he's tough on the drive.
He really is, and he's the guy that I've been kind of campaigning for to take over the role and get the keys to the car for Louisville at the point guard position. And right now he's making me look really good.
Sure is. Not to mention himself. That's going to be a traveling violation as McGowan's went for the wraparound pass and he coughs it up.
And David Johnson going left, recognizing that the help does not stay with him, doesn't want to leave a shooter in the corner. Champagnie hedges, but doesn't commit to coming in and taking Johnson away, and Johnson gets the easy layup.
You would think here in overtime, 4 minutes to go, that Jordan Wara would show up in a big way in the plan here for the Cardinals.
Well, one of the things about Wara, he's not great at creating his own shot. We did see him go to the step back earlier today, but it's not his strength. He normally leads his team as Johnson, of course, as we campaign for him, turns the basketball over, and Chris Mack trying to run down the sideline beside him.
In and out by Tony. And a rebound. Williams goes down in the seat of his pants. And a foul, 3:37 to go in OT. That'll go against Terrell Brown of the Pitt Panthers. So for Brown, that's his 4th foul. And the Cardinals will march to the other end to shoot. And it will be Williams headed to the line. Not necessarily his forte from Malik, just a 60% foul shooter. Again, 4 on Brown as he goes to the bench. Some discussion about that.
Well, he can't check in. I mean, of course, Brown can't leave the floor until after the first shot, with it being in the double bonus.
And Williams with another one coming, and now they'll allow Brown to sit down, and Pittsburgh to make the substitution. Eric Hamilton in. And number 2 got that. So it's Louisville by 2. They haven't had many leads tonight.
They really haven't. I mean, Pittsburgh did a great job of coming out and jumping on Louisville early. Louisville did at the end of the first half take a 29-28 lead, but then Pittsburgh was able to extend it going into halftime.
Traveling. So a key turnover here for the Panthers.
And also gives the Cards an opportunity to get Ryan McMahon into the game. And this is the reason why big guys aren't supposed to have the basketball this far away from the basket. And I love the fact that Hamilton argues with the call as if it didn't happen.
Right. No, nobody saw that. Fresh Kimball. McMahon off the fake for a 2-pointer. Rebound tipped. Wara battling for that. And a whistle. Wara went in there fighting hard for that rebound. 3:06 remaining in overtime.
The Cards went all Katie George on us, playing volleyball with the basketball around the rim right there. Of course, Katie, a volleyball specialist.
A sensational player at the Ville. That'll be on McGowan's, by the way, his 4th. So Wara to shoot. He makes 71%. He drains the first one.
And just like that, a defensive possession, you get David Johnson back in the game. Ryan McMahon got a good look, unable to knock it down. But on the defensive end of the floor, you'd rather have Johnson on the court. And we haven't seen much of Darius Perry at all in this game. 11 minutes, 59 seconds, so we'll give him 12 minutes in this one.
Louisville opening up a 66-62 lead in overtime on a 6-0 run. Well, Louisville with a 66-62 lead over the Pitt Panthers. Overtime, 3:06 to go, and Louisville getting good balance.
They really have, and David Johnson stepping in, playing great minutes for the Cards, especially in the second half, helping lead that comeback to get him to overtime. And has a bucket in overtime as well, so Chris Mack trusting the freshman point guard.
Well, Pitt could use a hot hand. Xavier Johnson. 8 to get off the shot. McGowan's pull-up pop. And it's in. It kissed the backboard. He's done that more than once tonight.
Well, that one, of course, got over the top of the front of the rim. But going to the mid-range pull-up instead of over-penetrating, allowing him to put 2 points on the board for the Panthers.
And an offensive foul against the Cardinals.
It'll be interesting to see if they got Wara for that, or was that Kimball? Jordan Wara trying to set the screen.
It is on Kimball.
And coming through, Wara tried to set the screen, but you see fresh Kimball. Ooh. Now that was a good one, because as Kimball did push off, Xavier Johnson had a hold on his left arm, not allowing him to run.
Could be a very big play here. Pitt trying to tie or retake the lead in OT. 7 to shoot it. Quick move, too quick, and a travel. They get Tony for the traveling violation. Lots of fouls in this one. A total of 41 have been called.
And Tony is legit. Both feet moved before he put the ball on the floor.
.155 remaining in overtime.
And you're seeing the offensive-defensive substitution for Chris Mack, getting Ryan McMahon on the floor with Fresh Kimball on offensive possessions and getting David Johnson back in the game on defensive possessions whenever available.
Kimball with a kick. And Sutton drains a huge shot from the corner.
But the mistake, you do not help off a ball side corner in that possession. You've got Terrell Brown, the shot blocker, top 5 shot blocker for the Panthers in your lineup on the floor. You've got to make Fresh Kimball finish over the top of Brown.
Tipped out play back to the three-pointer.
And great play by Fresh Kimball, getting his shoulders in the paint, but you have to allow him to deal with the big guys in the paint. Right now, Justin Champagnie, you've got to stay home, not giving up that look to Dwayne Sutton, who has made big threes over the last couple of games for the Cards in crunch time.
The second game is underway. Wake Forest and Virginia Tech on ACC Extra. 1:17 left in overtime. Panthers in dire need of a bucket, down by 5. McGowan's determined to take it, hits it.
Continues to make tough shots, getting into the lane, and that one to make it a one-possession game. But right now, the Panthers have to come up with a stop and not allow the Cards to extend this lead.
McGowan's with 22 points. 47 seconds to play. Johnson on the drive. Lost the handle, but took the foul. He got hit.
That's a tough matchup for Ryan Murphy on that possession. And it's always going to be a tough matchup when you have to guard Trey McGowan. Doesn't have anything available to him going right. Goes back left. And the body control to be able to finish that.
Johnson drains number 1. Jeff Capel trying to spring the upset tonight against the number 11 team in the country. Had an opportunity in regulation as Johnson misses number 2.
It's still a 2-possession game right now, so if you're Pitt, you've got to hurry up and try to get something at the rim quickly.
McGowan's leaning in, heavy traffic. The tip won't go, but a whistle. As they were boxing out Justin Champagnie, and a foul against Louisville. And that'll go against Johnson. His 3rd. So Champagnie to the line. Very good foul shooter. He's 83%. Kid out of Brooklyn had a very nice game against Miami individually anyway. Again, they lost, but he had 11 rebounds. He hits number 1.
And great on the boards as well. I believe just hit 10 rebounds in this one. So another game. And, of course, that's one of the areas where Pittsburgh struggles. So what he gives them on the glass definitely helps this team. But when you don't have one solid rebounder, you have to do it as a team effort. And Justin Champagnie definitely gets involved in that.
Trying to get to it in 2. 70-68. And a timeout. Louisville takes a timeout. We were talking about this being an upset night. Still might happen here. Clemson has done it. They have knocked off the Duke Blue Devils tonight.
I tell you who's having a great week. That would be Brad Brownell going and breaking the streak in Chapel Hill. And a 59-game winning streak for the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill.
Yep.
They go in and get a win in that building to only come back 3 days later and beat the number 2 team in the country, the Duke Blue Devils, in Little John Coliseum. Brad Brownell living his best life right now.
Oh, he sure is. You know, they had a shot of him in the final moments of the North Carolina game in slow motion saying, it's over, you know, and they replayed that over and over again. But, I mean, as huge as that was, and it was giant in the context of, you know, the program, to beat the Duke Blue Devils as talented as Duke is right now, that's gigantic.
It is, and of course, sandwiched in between the Clemson Tigers football program losing in the national championship game. A few smiles, I'm sure, in Little John that would not have been there.
Take some of the sting away. So down the stretch we come in overtime. 35.2 seconds to go. Louisville leading by 2.
And right now, if you're Louisville, you've got your best free throw shooters in the game. Pitt is going to go for a steal early. They're going to see if they can come up with a steal, an opportunity to get the basketball back and attack the basket. But if not, they're going to foul. Jeff Capel will extend this game as long as he can. Make the Cards have to make free throws on their end of the floor.
Pittsburgh with the full court pressure. And it's mishandled off of McMahon, and out of bounds it goes. So it's back over to Pittsburgh.
And that's a exactly what you want. If you're Jeff Capel, you get the turnover, you get the basketball back, 34.6 remaining, as you see Ryan McMahon just unable to be sure-handed on that possession, going down and dropping it out of bounds. Xavier Johnson getting a hand in there. I'm not sure if it got arm or basketball, but it did get the turnover regardless.
Up top for McGowan's. Final half minute of the overtime. McGowan's penetrating. Off balance. No. Rebound tip coming in. And they're going to wave that off. Brown tipped it up and in, but a foul on the play. And they're howling here at the Peterson Event Center.
And Brown fouls out on that possession. And Jeff
Capel's beside himself.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Now, it looked like from this angle, Brown had made a tremendous play to get high up and tip it in and tie the ball game, but instead of fouling him.
As McGowan's attacks the basket, you see Brown and David Johnson. Oh, wow. Brown was trying to be boxed out by Johnson. He gets away from the box out. Malik Williams backs up.
I didn't see a foul there.
I didn't see a foul either. And not only would that it be a tie basketball game because the ball went in. The basket went in. So it would be 70-70 right now. And again, officiating is the toughest thing to do in this game. And we have the benefit of looking at it in slow motion.
Williams makes the first. 71-68. Jeff Capel trying to do what he wants his kids to do. Keep their chins up. Still time to win it.
It really is. And again, that's one that is tough to deal with.
It looked like a clean tip from here and on the replay. So a huge call in the game. Louisville now leading 72-68 with 23.7 to go in overtime.
Realistically, Obi, I honestly believe it was Malik Williams that tipped the basketball in. When you look at it, Williams is backing up, trying to box out, but he hits his man, and it's the combination of Brown and Williams with the hand on the basketball.
I think you're right. They both got a hand.
That both tip it in. But I just don't see the contact, especially enough contact there to call a foul. Terrell Brown is doing everything that he can to avoid boxing out. And that's tough.
I don't know if that's the word that the average Pitt Panther fan would use to describe it.
No, I know the Panther fans would not use that exact verbiage to describe that play.
So Pitt with the basketball. Capel still shaking his head. McGowan's looking for room to get off a shot. Fires way downtown. Can't hit it. Rebounded away by Sutton to reach in, foul, stop the clock, and 13.5 to go in overtime. And Louisville to shoot again and starting to feel it.
Well, it's tough now. You're talking 2 possessions, an opportunity to make it a 5 or 6 point lead here for the Cards, who with 13.5 look like they can escape the zoo with the win. Jeff Capel standing as far away from any official coming over as Jason Capel stands up. But oh man, that's tough. I can feel right now.
The number 5 on Tony, by the way, as he exits. And that puts Dwayne Sutton at the line, 71%. And misfiring on number 1.
Now, one play never cost you a game. But some plays are more important than others. And I just wish that we had, and that we have so much ability to review.
McGowan's off the fake, got it up there, but an air ball, and that will settle it. Louisville comes into Pittsburgh and grinds out a win with a very controversial call at the end. 73-68. The Cardinals win it as they beat the Pitt Panthers here tonight in overtime.